Hello and welcome to Santos on Sports, along with my partner in crime, Mr. Chris Santos. I am Paul Santos. Glad to have you looking in on this chilly afternoon. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Scotty's Pub, 202 Pleasant Street, Fall River. Citywide Glass with 3 locations in Dartmouth, Fall River, and Taunton. Lakeville Athletic Club, 325 Bedford Street in Lakeville. And attorney John B. Seed, 156 8th Street in New Bedford. And you can go to his website at johnseedlaw.com. Chris, how are we doing today?
Hey, Paul, welcome back and happy holidays to you and everyone out there that's coming up. I know it's been a while for us, but, a lot going on in sports. Obviously, football down to the final 3 weeks, 16, 17, and 18. Games going to be playing over the weekend. We got Bruins hockey. We got Celtics action. A lot going on right now in the world of sports, obviously locally for our team. So, yeah, been pretty busy too, Paul. Basketball started up, so announcing some ball games there. Looking forward to the season. New Bedford High, Greater New Bedford Voc, boys and girls. So I had a game last night, got another one Friday night. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. It's busy time in sports here in New England.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to the winter season. The basketball and the hockey, always a lot of fun to call the games in New Bedford and Dartmouth. But we are going to start with the Patriots, and it was an interesting day. The Patriots, really had them by the short hairs there. It looked like it was going to be a nice win. Everybody was getting excited. We were cheering the Patriots on before the game was over, which is always a big mistake that Chris reminded us. But I have to tell you, you're looking at that game, right? And, you don't want to place the blame in any particular area because you have offense, you have defense, you have special teams and the like. But, quarterbacks get a disproportionate amount of the attention and a disproportionate amount of the credit. And they may get a disproportionate amount of the blame too. The thing that bothers me about this game is a little bit different than a lot of other people. Obviously, the Patriots had the big lead. You would think that the defense could have secured that lead. But no, they give up 5 straight touchdowns in a row without a lot of adjustments. It seemed like they were playing the zone defense, not really an answer. They had no answer for Josh Allen. But that's not what really bothered me. What bothered me is that we had the ball not once, but twice at the end of the game. Not once, but twice. We had 2 chances to make our mark. I mean, we're talking about how our guy is an MVP candidate and everything else. But the fact of the matter is, it was MVP candidate. The MVP candidate really had 2 chances to march that team down the field and win the game. And the fact of the matter is he was not able to do it. He didn't look good. He couldn't complete a pass. I understand that Stephon Diggs couldn't get open. I understand that Hunter Henry missed one through his hands. He probably should have got one. But, he also took a bad sack. And the bottom line is that when the chips are on the table, when you need to win a game, Tom Brady gets the ball, he's going to go. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball, he's going to go. I understand it's not on one person. But I still haven't seen it. And I'm a big Drake May fan. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great leader. I think he's somebody that, carries himself in a classy fashion, and he's, had this meteoric rise. You know what I mean? It looks like it's a great draft pick. It looks like somebody could be a great quarterback for a long time. But you still have to have that march down the field at the end of the game when the chips are on the table. And I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. I haven't seen it. I have to see it. I said the same thing about Mac Jones. Is this guy going to be like Big Papi up with the bases loaded? Is he going to be Tom Brady with 2 minutes left or Patrick Mahomes with 2 minutes left? Or is this going to be one of these things where we can't get over the hump? So that worries me. I don't know. I may be crazy. I may be overstating it. But when they got the ball twice at the end and we couldn't even go down, we couldn't even get a first down. Never mind, get into field goal range or try to get a touchdown or anything. So to me, that was what bothered me. Am I way off base? Am I exaggerating? Am I getting a little bit too upset about that one thing?
Okay, so first let me start and say we'll do it as a New England fan. Okay, we won't do it as a regular fan, Paul. We'll do it as a New England fan. You know what New England fans are saying?
What's that? The white flag?
The flags, Paul. New England came out and said,
"Where's the flags?" Yes.
No flags. Where's the flags? Should have been flags. Flag this, flag that. That's all I hear about. Number 2, Drake May. Guys were talking at the first half, running in touchdowns from one side, running in touchdowns from the other side, doing what he's supposed to do. Not a problem. Now, second half adjustments. Did Buffalo go to the locker room and make some? They absolutely sure did. And they did a good job doing it. not only on defense, but they did on offense. Now, as the guy who just typed in Joe Potter took the words right out of my mouth, this was a time for an adversity. First time for New England to be in this particular situation, Paul. Now, you said that Tom Brady used to. Yes, when Tom Brady started to make wins and they started to be competitive in seasons. I'm not saying Tom Brady at the beginning of his career made every fourth quarter win, come back from behind. Not saying Drake May can't do that. He possibly can. But this is the first time that we've seen, I think, all year, can he get the job done? Possibly. He didn't in this one. Now, can you blame the defense? Sure. Can you blame the lack of the offense? Sure. Again, it's a combined thing, as much as when, you got a 28-3 Atlanta Falcons and you watch Brady come back, defense can't hold them, but the offense couldn't score either. It's the same kind of deal. You got to work on both sides of the ball. Can May get it better? Can they put it together? I don't see why not. There might be some different situations down the stretch. I'm not going to put it against them right now, Paul. Too early for me to tell. That was one particular game. Okay, it can happen. But, again, I got to see more games. I just can't say one particular game and, boy, no, he doesn't have Poppy or he doesn't have the great ones to come back and do it. I'm not there yet. But you got to like what he did in the first half. And remember, Buffalo in this NFL season, they're probably, I think they're number one in the second half of football games scoring points. So they've done it all season long, and they continue to do it again. So they're doing something right when they go to the locker room and figure out what's wrong and try to correct it. So they've done a pretty good job with that. So I'm not going down on the ship with May just yet. Did it hurt his chances for MVP? That's possible. But he's still having a good season.
Well, I'm a big Drake May fan. As I said before, his rise has been meteoric. When he first started, we weren't quite sure. The first game of the season this year was kind of uneven, but he really got on a roll. But remember this, these wins that they've had a lot of wins during the season. And again, I don't want to get into the weak schedule, but they have had a fairly weak schedule. You know what I mean? Most of these wins have been like they've blown teams out in the first half, or they got a big win that they never relinquished.
Right.
So they haven't had a chance to march down the field and win the game in the clutch. It hasn't happened. Okay. A couple of times last year they had a chance to win it in the end, and what happened? We threw an interception. We're like the Phil Rivers of, it's a whole other story. But we're like the Phil Rivers, So what are we going to be? I mean, it's early. I don't want to say anything negative about the kid, not really, but I'm just telling you how I feel about it right now. And by the way, Tom Brady, right? He didn't become the Tom Brady of later on until later on. That first cluster of championships,
sure.
A lot of people say, look, it was a Hall of Fame defense and everything else. That's true. But in the Super Bowl, when we needed to march down the field, when John Madden said, kneel on the ball and go into overtime, Brady threw a few passes, got him in the field goal range, and we won the game by kicking a field goal. And if Bledsoe was in there, he probably would have got sacked. You know what I mean? So Brady came through in the Super Bowl in his rookie year. You know what I mean? So we already had that gene then, right?
I see, again, Paul, you're trying to compare apples and oranges. You're asking a rookie kid to be Tom Brady. You can't do that.
No, but we need him to win the game in the fourth quarter.
He's not the second coming of Tom Brady. Patriot fans, get that out of your head.
Tom Brady's not coming through that door.
Second coming of Tom Brady. Nobody is, and nobody will be.
No, but here's the thing.
Let the kid find his way. He's going to listen. If he learns from this and gets better, and this situation comes up again, let's say this week against Baltimore, and he has a good game, and it comes second half and he does pretty good. Maybe he'll learn from what had just happened. I don't know. Then again, he could go backwards and get picked off and throw interceptions. To me, one game is not going to tell me enough of Drake May. I need to see more.
But, I got to tell you, in all the years of watching sports, and that's why I like to put up the sign, the it factor and all that.
Yeah.
There are just some people that have that extra little intangible. You can't even describe it. You can't even quantify it. You can't even do it like a mathematical tabulation. You know what I mean?
Yep. And how many are there, Paul? How many guys in the NFL have that?
Some people just have that it thing. And Brady, right? He was a rookie when he won the Super Bowl and marched him down the field and got a couple of complete passes there, right? So in other words, are we going to throw an interception when we're in that situation? Are we going to go 3 and out? I mean, the Patriots, both of those times, those 2 times that they had the ball at the end, they didn't even get a first down both times. You know, like all I want to do is have my guy march down the field and win the game.
Because you keep going back to Tom Brady and the
team. He did it when he was a rookie. He did it when he was a rookie.
You're not getting another one of those players.
Right.
You got to take for what the kid can give you. Has he had a tremendous season? Absolutely. Has he been over and above your expectations, Paul, this year? Come on.
No, absolutely. But
absolutely. If you told me Drake May was going to do this going into week 16, I'd say you're absolutely dead wrong. I did not expect this from him. I expected some wins. I expected, okay, pretty good. But for what he's done, I did not expect that. If you
I agree. I agree with all that. Again, I just want to see.
Take the team, take it where they're coming from, take it from 4 wins from last season. I should know that, of course, from them 4 wins. But take that and say, okay, look what it's transitioned to this year. It's outstanding. Is it going to get better? That's what they hope. You're looking for, that diamond in the rough that's just going to take over and be, again, the next TB12.
Well, but some guys tighten up. Some guys tighten up in the clutch, and other guys don't. And I just want to find out: is Drake May going to be like Dak Prescott, or is he going to be somebody like? Anyway, I just slipped that in there. Anyway, Tom Brady may not be walking through that door, but Butch from Acushnet is walking through that door. Hey, Butch.
Hey, Butch.
What's going on, fellas?
How are you?
We're having a good little discussion over here.
That is a good discussion, and in the world of the Patriots world here of how I like to say the pink hat fans pushing the panic button after I'll give you this: it was a heartbreaking loss because they had such a lead,
right?
And you could fantasize about what it would look like if they had won that game, and then it comes to a screeching halt. But the point I wanted to make, Paul, is that, there's 11 players on the offense.
Right.
And Tom Brady, as a rookie, first of all, didn't start every game. Drew Bledsoe was in there and got hurt, and then they flip-flopped, I think, at least once after he came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but my point is this. Tom Brady threw some passes and got him to the Super Bowl and actually won it, but people got open as well. Drake May can't throw to covered guys, and I didn't watch the film. I'm not a coach, but, to say that, we need someone to step up in the critical moment, I think, we have to measure, does he have the opportunity to step up? Josh Allen can take off and start running, and he's a beast, and that's the true MVP. Last week you had him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, the Patriots fans had Drake May, first-time vote into the Hall of Fame.
No, I can't say that I did.
He's the guy.
No, that's a little strong. But remember when Giselle said, "My husband can't throw the ball and catch it too"?
I remember that, yeah.
Paul,
I mean, where's Stephon Diggs been?
Listen, in the second half of that game.
One pass.
Yeah, in the second half of that game.
How about the defense? They ran in the fourth quarter. I think they only had the ball 2 minutes and 47 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, when you go 3 and out, it usually goes pretty fast.
And then every time he gave the ball back to Buffalo, he scored a touchdown. It's more than Drake May. It's the defense, and it could be a little bit of fool's gold. Depending on on the quality of their strength of schedule.
All right, I think Chris wants to jump in here.
Yeah. No.
Miami's going to be a problem.
Well, listen, Miami just benched Tua today, so he will not be playing in the next game, as Quinn Ewers will now be the new quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. So if you're scared of the Dolphins, just take a look at that game they played at Pittsburgh, because nobody was scared of them then, because they looked absolutely terrible. So I'm not saying anything about the Miami Dolphins. First of all, the next game is the Baltimore Ravens. That's the game that you have to see how this team overcomes adversity. You saw what happened last week. Do they let it get to them and play bad against Baltimore, or they turn it around and play a good game against Baltimore? That's what I want to see in this week coming up, how they transition from that loss to what's going to happen here. Now, Lamar, obviously Derrick Henry, they got a couple, Flowers, a couple of guys, decent. Baltimore's defense, been suspect all year. They've been getting better in the second half of their schedule. Let's see how McDaniels and May try to put some points on the board against this Ravens defense, who I don't think has been that special, but they're going to have to find a way to get it done. Butch, you text me on Sunday. You said, and this is a playoff team. Do you still see them as a playoff team?
Yes, I see them making the playoffs.
Making the playoffs. I don't think they cannot make it right now. Even if they lose outright, I still think they'll make the playoffs. But I'm talking about making a run in this playoffs.
They could not get in. There's a chance if they lost all three remaining games.
Yeah, but a lot of things would have to happen. But can they make a run, or is this a one and done?
Yeah, I agree.
They can make a run, or is it one and done?
Oh, I'm going to be on the safe side and say, anybody could beat anybody on a given side. I'm going to say this is a young team, man. They had 4 wins last year.
Yep.
I'm going to say I'm going to be happy if they make the playoffs. And although I'll be disappointed, I won't be surprised if they go one and done.
Okay.
All right. No, I wouldn't be surprised either. Yeah, we have to be happy. I mean, this has been a great season. Every single game is exciting, and it's great to have the Patriots back and be relevant again and all that. So I know I'm coming across greedy. I understand that. I know that's what it sounds like. But I just want to see us come down. When was the last time the Patriots marched down the field and won a game with 2 minutes left? I can't even remember. It was like 5 years ago or something.
Well, 20 years of it wasn't enough, huh, Paul?
No, but I'm just saying, it's taken. I just want to see it. Is that asking too much? I got to tell you, if they play Baltimore and they're behind by a touchdown with 2 minutes left, I can't say like I have the confidence that they're going to march down and win the game. I hope they do.
Again, Butch, these Patriots fans are so spoiled. They saw it for 20 years, and they want to see it every time they play. It's incredible.
It's unbelievable, Chris. And I
So
agree
spoiled.
with Paul. I don't have the confidence either, but I do have the feeling that Drake May is going to do whatever he's going to try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whether that pans out for them or
right.
I don't know. But we have nothing to measure it against. He really hasn't had the opportunity to do it. It's only his second year in the league. Let's see. Hopefully they're behind in the fourth quarter.
I just want to say
That's what Paul's wishing for.
Remember last year there was a couple interceptions at the end there. I know it was a rookie and all that. All right, Butcher. Thank you. I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah.
Butch doesn't agree with me too much on Saturdays.
Yeah.
All right, hey Butch, thanks very much. All right, let's go to Ryan from Rochester. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going? Long time no talk.
Yeah, good.
Hey,
nice to
Ryan,
hear from you. How are things going? How are things going? Are you a greedy Patriots fan too?
I wouldn't say greedy. The Buffalo loss was disappointing, but I do take some light in the fact that that scenario that I sent you guys about the Chiefs not making the playoffs, that hit. So I'm happy about that.
Well, yeah, obviously we don't like to see Mahomes get hurt, but I know a lot of Patriots fans.
Sure,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
no, but I know a lot of Patriot fans are happy that they're not in there. But I got to take the reverse thing. I wanted the Patriots to play Kansas City in the playoffs at Foxborough because I thought that would have been just awesome theater. So I was kind of pulling for the Chiefs just for that reason.
That's fair. That's fair. It certainly would have been quite the litmus test. That's for certain. I'm me. So I just didn't. I had that thought like even if they get in at like the 7th seed, they could probably flip that switch and go on a run. But hey, I can't fault you for that. That's a good mentality. That would be a good litmus test.
All right, let me ask you a question. When the Patriots got the ball not once but twice in the last couple of minutes of that game, were you thinking, all right, we're going to go down to get a touchdown? I mean, I was thinking that they would, you know what I mean? But, boy, they looked abysmal. I mean, it was 3 and out, and it wasn't even close to getting the first down. It was pretty bad. So I was disappointed. I really wanted to see that rally at the end. I know they gave up the 5 touchdowns in a row. The defense gagged. But, you got to be able to win the games in the bottom of the 9th inning or with 2 minutes left in the game. You got to be able to pull those out at the end. Otherwise, you're not going to be a championship team.
Before you answer, Ryan, hang on. Hang on. Okay. By the way the game was going, Ryan, the sway of the game, the momentum change, the way the whole thing was, I did not expect Drake May to go down and get that touchdown because it was not in their favor. If it was the opposite and they were down 21 and then they came back and they were scoring, then he got it with 2 minutes. Then I would have said, I have hopes that Drake May would score. But I didn't in this one because of the momentum swing and how everything was going Buffalo's way and Patriots didn't have an answer. That's the difference that I'm seeing that Paul's seeing. How do you see it?
Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head. The momentum 100% swung. And it affected all three phases of the game, honestly. And I texted you guys, like, that was about as pathetic a half in all 3 phases of the game that I've ever seen. And, and especially like once Buffalo took the lead, I agreed, like, they weren't going down and scoring just because, a confidence across the board. Like, you could see the body language. You could see just the way that they were just kind of all over the place. Guys bumping into each other on routes, falling down, all that good stuff. Their confidence was shaken. So once Buffalo took that lead, it was over from there.
Took the fans right out of the game.
Well, but then you had that Henderson touchdown, right? Okay, that was just kind of the way it happened. It really wasn't a march down the field. So that gave them a little bit of lift. But, if you're a championship team, and again, we're just happy that the Patriots are relevant again. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking for a Super Bowl championship. But if you're going to be a championship team and you have a big lead and you start to lose the lead, you have to have an answer. So you're ahead by, it happens all the time in all the sports. A team is ahead, right? And then the other team makes a run. And then at the tail end of the run, the championship team responds and knocks them out at the end. That's what you need.
Ryan will tell you, this looks like the Boston Celtics of this year and last year. They build up a big lead, get to the third or the end of the fourth, or start of the fourth, and they blow it, and you expect them to come back and jump in front of them, and they can't do it. And everybody says, what happened to the Celtics in the third quarter? They had a big lead. It's the same thing. Now, this has only happened once.
And then Tatum comes down.
No, this has only happened once.
Dribbles the ball.
You're not listening.
Land. He goes,
they don't even get there. We're talking about a loss from a big lead.
And does the step back three and clanks it off the thing.
You're doing a whole different thing. You're talking about big leads that got lost.
City.
The Celtics have been doing it for last year and this year. The Patriots have done it once. And you're asking for a championship quality team, as you say, who were 4-12 last year, or whatever it was, and expect them to be winning ball games at the end of the game against a good Buffalo team. You're asking for too much, in my opinion, but that's Patriots' expectations.
Well, Ryan, in order to be a team that's going to compete for the Super Bowl, maybe this team, obviously it's a young team. They're really just competing for the first time. But sooner or later, you're going to be in this situation again. Okay, 2 minutes left, 2-minute drill. who do you want to have the ball, right? So if somebody said to me, who do you want to have the ball with 2 minutes left? I would say Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to say Dak Prescott. I'm not even going to say Peyton Manning in the playoffs because he would blow up most of the time. Certainly not going to say Phil Rivers. I mean, talk about Mr. Interception in the clutch. And then he's out there the other day with a little side arm. Now he's got a pot belly to go with it. In fact, I even texted my son, "Watch this, Interception City." I was rooting for the poor guy too. We as we get older, we start rooting for the older guys. But anyway, there's going to be these situations, and I just want to see how it plays out. I hope Drake May is the big poppy of the Patriots. I hope that's true. I hope it happens, but I just want to see it.
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing we have to remember. There's all sorts of room for growth there. So I think we got like a glimpse of it, in Buffalo, the first time around. Even though it didn't go down for a touchdown, he made some plays, running out of the pocket. He almost got sacked at one point. Then he flipped it over to Stephon Diggs for that first down. So we saw glimpses that he could do it. It's just like on a consistent basis. He's just got to grow a little more.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a couple of other callers on the line. Thank you very much for your input, Ryan. And let's see what happens against Buffalo.
Baltimore.
For sure. Thanks for having me on again, guys.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Okay. Let me try this right here. Mark from Chicago. Hello.
Hey, Marky.
How you doing, guys?
What's going on?
Just enjoying this call, and everybody wants to talk about the Patriots. How about that?
I know, huh? And by the way, Nelson, Nelson's off the side. Nelson, you'll be next after we're done with Mark. So, Mark, am I being too greedy over there? Chris says, what am I talking about? I want this young team to be a championship team. I want Drake May to march them down the field. Look, I haven't seen the Patriots march them down the field with 2 minutes left in like 5 years. We need to see it. I just want to see it. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
I think you're being greedy.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Listen, a couple things I would say is, at the end of the day, we got to remember, I don't know how much game-winning drives or last-minute drives Brady orchestrated in his first 10, 11 games as a starter.
He did it in the Super Bowl.
He did.
In his first year, rookie.
Okay, I understand that, but how many of them were won by him at the end of the game?
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, and Chris said this earlier, nobody expected Drake May to be who Drake May has been, and this team is way ahead of schedule. Would I have liked to have seen him march the team down? Absolutely, but I would point to a couple of things. To me, it's about physicality. It's not Drake May. Drake May didn't give up 5 straight touchdown drives to Buffalo, right? I mean, we've got some injuries on the offensive line. We got some injuries on the defensive line. But I look at it this way. This was a team that through 11 games did not give up a 60-yard rushing to a running back. The last 3 games, 107 yards to Cook, 70 yards to Singletary of the Giants, and 100 yards to Brown from the Bengals. We're going to learn a lot about this team when they play Baltimore this week. Do we come out and lay an egg? Baltimore's defense is not very good. Do we score like we have been scoring? Do we stop Lamar and Derrick Henry? I think we need to get back to playing physical football on both sides of the ball. You can look at the running backs, too. The last 2 games, Henderson's rushed the ball 13 times and 11 times. The 3 games before that, 18 times or more. I think we need to get back to physical football on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, the team's 11-3. I don't think anybody should be discouraged with where they are or where Drake May is at, in my opinion.
Mark, let me ask you a question. Who was 5-12 last year, got new offensive linemen, got a brand new coach, and is now 10-4 in the NFC North and leading the North? Who is that?
Well, you know who that is. I mean,
that's the Chicago Bears, led by Caleb Williams, who everybody had said Caleb Williams is a stiff. Caleb Williams is a bum. He's only got 5 wins. Guy's taken more sacks than anybody in the history of the NFL in one season. Look what they've done now. You know what that means? Offensive linemen, physicality, and coaching staff. And that's what the New England Patriots have done. They're trying to get better on the line. They're trying to get better with their coaching staff. And it showed what they're doing as much as it has shown for the Chicago Bears. So give McDaniels, Vrabel, and Drake May a lot of credit for what they've been able to accomplish, as much as Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and your Chicago Bears have done this year. Whether they win it or not, it's pretty impressive what those two guys have done.
Well, they're not my Chicago Bears, number one. Listen.
You like Chicago.
Yeah, we are from Chicago, so.
He likes Chicago.
These two teams are very, very familiar trajectories.
Yeah.
Last year, Williams and May, same results. They both had a weak coach.
Correct.
They both had weak offensive lines.
Yep.
And I think they have a very similar trajectory. But the bottom line is, and I know you got the Fall River / New York guy on hold, so I'll be quick. But at the end of the day, listen, we're in good hands with Vrabel. We're in good hands with Drake May.
Yep.
I think we'll see what happens this week against Baltimore, and we just got to go back to being a physical football team. And Drake May will progress the way he's going. I'm not disappointed at all with Drake May.
What about the lack of adjustments in the second half, with regard to the defense? Just, putting the spotlight on the other side of the ball just for a moment. I mean, it was 5 straight touchdowns, and the Patriots had no answer. What happened there, do you think, Chris?
Well, again, they made second half adjustments. Josh Allen took over the game a little bit. He got the run in. They started to run the ball. They found some openings, obviously, in the secondary. They did some things that they needed to do to get better. And as the head coach said, McDermott at the half, Sean, what do you have to do to make this team better second half? He goes, we got to settle down. We're making too many mistakes. And, from flags to not playing our kind of offense in Buffalo Bills football. They started to do that in the second half. And New England didn't have the answers and didn't make the adjustments they needed on both offense and defense. So once the momentum, took that big swing, they took the fans out. They got what they needed to do, and it put the Patriots back. And again, it's overcome adversity and try to learn from it, which I'm sure Vrabel, McDaniels, and May will do. And they will find a way, if it happens again, to get better in the next situation.
So, Mark, what do you think is going to happen against Buffalo? The game is in Buffalo. Baltimore. The game is at Baltimore, and Baltimore is playing a lot better. I mean, that's going to be a real test.
We're going to win by 10.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The universe in New England will be restored.
So they'll have the game won before they have to march down and win it at the end.
Hey, listen, Rome wasn't built in a year.
I'm just hung up on this thing. I just have this thing about some guys can just do it when, in the 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Tell me about the first or the second inning. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. I want to know if you're going to come through.
It barely comes to that situation per game.
He's gonna restore your faith in the it factor.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks very much. Always nice to hear from you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, buddy.
All right. So waiting patiently is our good friend from the great city of Fall River. Nelson, are you there?
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous.
You really enjoyed that game, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it. I just have 2 questions for you and all of New England. Why did the Patriots default on their debt this past Sunday?
Why did they do what?
Why did they default on their debt this past Sunday?
Default on their debt. I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll tell you the reason. It's because they couldn't pay the bills. You see, at some point, the carnival has to come to an end, and you got to leave. Mm-hmm. When you get a whole easy schedule, the universe is going to be a certain way, but when reality hits and the actual script from that movie begins, and we got a taste of it, we all witnessed Drake May falling flat like a flat tire. 3 and out. See you later. 4 and out. Goodbye. The real MVP right now, Josh Allen. The Bills, they got something to say. He showed what it takes to literally win a game when you're practically down by 3 scores. I loved every minute of it. I loved Pat's Nation booing in there. I also loved the Grinch, the person who attended that game. I told that person to go there because I wanted to steal Christmas from Pat's Nation. It was a fabulous game.
Wow, what a speech. What a speech.
Okay? He was tested. He's going to get tested again, and we're going to see him fall flat. Drake May for MVP? I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so.
All right, Chris, what do you think of that speech?
Well, I reverse it from the first time they played each other, and it was May who did the job, and Josh Allen couldn't do the job. And the Patriots took that game away from him up in Buffalo. Now, did they reverse it and revenge it? Absolutely. Do I think either one is MVP? I don't have either one as MVP. I actually have Matthew Stafford from the Rams as my MVP. I like the way he's playing. I like where he has his team. If he gets a healthy Devontae Adams, I think this team could make a big run to the Super Bowl. I think they are legit from what I have seen, and I've seen them all this year. And I think Stafford has been the best player in the NFL right now. But that being said, would it be nice, guys, maybe a third time? New England and Buffalo in the playoffs?
Wow.
Possibility. What do you think of that one, Nelson?
Oh, what do I think about that? This is what I
Game
think about
3. Game 3.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me jump in there for a second because, I will say this, right? When the Patriots lost that game, for them to just keep winning and win all the way through the regular season, win like 13, 14 in a row, and then go into the playoffs and continue to keep winning. It's really tough to go all that time without ever having a loss. So my thought process after the game was over, not the way they lost, but losing to Buffalo, again, the other thought I had was before I let Nelson go, they used to say the toughest thing to do in sports is beat the same team 3 times.
Right.
So you beat them the first time. Let's say they beat them the second time. Now you go into the playoff game. The playoff game means, the 2 regular season games don't mean crap now because now it's the playoff game. So I'd rather play them in the playoffs 1-1 than play them in the playoffs 2-0. That's what I would say. Nelson, what do you think?
This is what I think. If the Patriots make the playoffs, they will go home very early. Okay, it will not be the usual story that Pat Nation has been accustomed to of Brady saving the day. Those days are gone. Okay, and since I'm in the holiday cheer, before I go, since I'm so happy, I just want to sing for one moment. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Merry Christmas, New England. Drake May for MVP? I don't think so.
All right, thank you, Nelson.
See you, Nelson.
Have a good one.
Wow, that's the first time we ever get serenaded on Santos on Sports.
Well, listen, this is right up your alley, Paul, because you're Scotty Pub's karaoke
That's right.
guru over there. So Nelson singing, how did he sound to you? Should he join you over at Scotty's Pub right there in Fall River, and you guys can do a duet together?
Yeah, I thought he sounded real good, actually. I thought he sounded good. I was getting a little nervous. I was getting ready to hit the dump button because I thought he was going to change the lyrics. but because he didn't change the lyrics, it's all good to go. Oh, man, we're having a great time here. Santos on Sports. I'm actually going to end it about 5 minutes early. So if you want to get in, 774-218-3393. We've heard from Butch, Ryan, Nelson, and Mark from Chicago. A lot of good calls back and forth.
Let's talk about Joe Potter over here.
Yeah, Joe Potter.
Yeah, the Pats faced adversity for the first time and fell on their face. They on a championship team, 1 and done in the playoffs. He says Derrick Henry will do what James Cook did this past week. He'll have 100 yards, couple TDs, so we better have a plan on Sunday. I think we lose again this week. Baltimore has always been tough. Once again, he says it's 1 and done for the Pats. So Joe says it's been a good season, but it's not going to go too far.
it all depends on who you play too. If they get an opponent in the first round, and of course they're going to be at home, assuming that they, can win at least 2 out of these last 3 games. They should have a game in Foxborough. Doesn't look like they're going to get the bye, because it looks like Denver's going to get the bye. So a lot would have to happen for them to, win out and get the bye. But the first game anyway should be in Foxborough. I think that, that first game in Foxborough, you'd like to see them grab that one anyway. You know what I mean? Again, if they lose in the first round, hey, it's still a great season from where they were last year, the last 2 years. Absolutely. It's not going to get any easier next year because the schedule is going to be tougher. And so now you get a whole different situation. You got to build one step at a time. But, that first game in Foxborough, I think I would be a little disappointed if they couldn't grab that first one.
Well, if it's Buffalo for a third time, that would be tremendous, to watch.
Great theater. Yeah, right.
Great theater, great drama,
yeah.
Great everything. That would be a big hype. And even if they don't, think about the next teams that are in the hunt right now, which is obviously Baltimore, Pittsburgh. You look at the Chargers, obviously Denver, what they've been doing in the AFC. So the Colts, I don't know if they can hang on. There's some different things that can happen there. I'm not sure if there's going to be a sneaky team that comes around and what can it be to try to make it there at the end. But it's great drama. It's great theater. Home or away, whoever they play. I think the high expectations, Paul, when you go from 4-12 to where you are now and how it could be for you just to get there, if I'm a New England fan, I'd be ecstatic saying, hey, it gives us a shot. It gives us a chance. And like Butch says, any given Sunday, anything can happen. So
that's for sure.
You got to put yourself into that position. And remember, there's 32 teams, 24 going home, or 16 going home that not even going to make it. So it's great drama. It's great theater. Wish them well and see how it goes this week with Baltimore. I expect, like Mark said, to see a little bit of change in New England. Not saying they're going to win the game, but I think they'll play a more complete game through 4 quarters than they did in the second half against Buffalo.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's going to be a big game. They get these 2 big games in a row, and then they finish the season at New York Jets and then home to Miami. Now, I think Butch said something like, hey, maybe that Miami game might be tricky. I don't know. They're out of the playoffs now, so, I mean, they're not going to play Tua. So, I mean, if you can't win that game, I mean, that's a game that we should win.
Yeah, I know. I expect 2 wins. The Jets defense might give you a little problem, but I think their offense will cause enough problems of their own to throw interceptions or do something crazy, and the defense will help out in New England to win that one. I see nothing from Miami, especially after what just happened there. I'm surprised their head coach is still around personally. He's letting other people go, probably besides himself, but he better look in the mirror and put his head on straight because it's not looking too well for him.
What do you think the key is going to be with the Patriots against Baltimore? Because they bring a lot of other issues to the table as opposed to Buffalo. I mean, you have a similar quarterback, I guess. He does the similar kinds of things that Allen can do. In some respects he can run, and I don't know if he throws quite as well as Allen does, but he I don't know, he's tricky.
Right. So as Joe Potter said, number 1 responsibility is the run. You got to stop Derrick Henry. You want him to go east and west. You don't want him going north and south. You got to make sure you stop that. Number 2, you got to keep Lamar contained. That is huge because he loves to flush. He likes to get out. He likes to move. Force him to throw the ball. You must have that, option. I think the Pat secondary can hang in there with that to make it better for them. On the offensive side of the ball, hey, you just got to make plays. You got to stay away from penalties. You can't have turnovers. You got Henderson doing the right thing. And then, Paul, you need somebody on that wide receiver. Butte, Diggs, Hunter Henry. You got to have that guy that can give me 11 targets, maybe catches it 9 times, gives me over 100, gets a touchdown or 2. You need someone that say, ooh, this guy's a threat. Ooh, this guy's a threat. I haven't really seen that from New England that I'd like to see besides what Henderson's been doing running the ball. That's a threat now. See, at the beginning of it, now it's a threat. He can take off and go for 60s and 70s, and you saw it against Buffalo. We need to see that in the wide receiver department. Because when you give May time, I'm trying to think of the guy who said it on the NFL show, called Drake May's ball one of the best balls thrown in the league. Okay, great. Then give him that time to find that stud, whoever that's going to be, catch some balls, and help out that offense at the wide receiver position.
Well, I heard one analysis that went something like, hey, Stephon Diggs, he had a couple of big games against some weaker teams, and he's not quite the player that he was. Now, he had that operation on the knee and all that. One X's and O's type person was saying, hey, they were watching the all 22, and Diggs was having a hard time getting open. He couldn't outrun the linebackers. He couldn't outrun the quarterback. Man, that, he was a key guy. In fact, he was a favorite target of May in some of these early games. So, if that's true that he's having trouble, keeping up and he's not quite as quick as he was and he's having difficulty getting open, that's a big area of concern.
Well, absolutely. And Matt Collins, another guy that, comes out of his car with no shirt on, no shoes on, just pants on. And it's, 10 degrees outside and raining and, put that on the field and use that energy and get open and catch some balls and get in the end zone. So, they need someone in that wide receiver position to really step up their game to say, and defenses go, boy, we got to keep an eye on this play action pass, get Henderson involved. Big close yardage, get Stevenson back in there. Just different things that they can use all together. But absolutely, something's got to give on that wide receiver part.
Well, the difference between winning and losing is such a small amount. All the great coaches have said that. We've talked about that many times. But, there was a pass that, in all fairness to Drake May, there was a pass to Hunter Henry in one of those. It was either the second or the last drive or the second to last drive.
Yep.
And, maybe the ball was a little high, but it went right through Hunter Henry's hands, Yep. And if Hunter Henry could have caught that and they got a first down there, you know what I mean? Maybe it would have been like, okay, we're getting our confidence back. There's a nice big first down. There was a big clutch catch, and all that. And then maybe we have a different result. So, yeah, I mean, May can put the ball in a certain spot. And, and then if I don't know, they were saying that Diggs ran the wrong route a couple times or he couldn't get open. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much Drake May can do. I mean, if Hunter Henry catches that ball, maybe we're in a different situation.
Right. So is that the it factor's fault because he didn't catch it? No, exactly.
No.
Okay.
My husband can catch the ball and throw the ball.
Okay, Giselle. Right. That's what I'm saying. So if he makes the catch, now everybody goes, whoa. So now you got to blame Henry on the particular play. And
he didn't look too comfortable, did he? May didn't seem
so again, I mean, so that's why it's an offensive play, and it's not just a Drake May play. And you figure out how to do it. It's the same thing when Drake May scored both touchdowns by running the football.
Right.
In that first half. If you recall, he looked at the first receiver, the second read, the third read. Nobody open. Took off, scored. What a play by Drake May. Second time, almost the same thing. What a play by Drake May. So you look at now, somebody got open, he throws it, or a tight window, and they can't come up with it. I can't blame May. You have to go by what the play was and what you see develop in front of you. And as an X and O guy, that particular play, that's Henry's fault and not May's. The ball was there.
Right. And if the ball gets caught and you get a first down, maybe the next play is another, positive play. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, there's other people in the field. And, we've talked about Brady before. Brady was on a lot of great teams. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he's the greatest quarterback. No question about it. I'm not going to debate that. But, and he was smart enough to know that when he looked at Tampa Bay and he went to Tampa Bay and then he talked Gronkowski into coming out of retirement, he knew what he needed, you know what I mean, to win by that point in his career. So, it's not like he went to some stiff team. He went to a team that had a lot of, that had a lot of parts already there. And then he added Gronkowski, and he talked to other couple guys go down there, and next thing you know, they're winning again. So, he couldn't do it by himself either. In fact, Tom Brady's last year in New England, he looked terrible. Everybody thought he was washed up.
No, but here's the other thing with that too. Number one, you had the better players. Number one. Number two, Brady would be in your head so much, you wouldn't dare to drop a goddamn ball in front of Tom Brady. Because I know he'd go to the sidelines and he'd be in your face catch that ball because it was
Right.
there. You know what I mean? That's
He
the
was a
kind
real
of player.
leader.
That's the kind of leader Tom Brady was. And he'd call you at night and say, I'm going to you 10 times today, and you better catch all 10. That's the kind of guy I want to show and say, hey, let's get it done. And not many guys dropped the ball when Tom Brady threw it to them. I can tell you that.
Well, I got to tell you, I'd heard about Tom Brady the night before the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. He was calling guys on the team that had never won before, and he was telling them, hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow.
You're here for a reason.
You're going to catch a ball. You're going to make a tackle, or you're going to do this. And the guy's like, this is Tom Brady telling me. It's almost like there's a mental part to the thing, as you know. This is Tom Brady telling me we're going to win. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like, the leadership qualities. And again, I've told a story before. My son and I were very fortunate. I went to a game against Houston. We're sitting at the 20-yard line, a beautiful 70-degree day. They're playing Houston, and Houston's coming down with like 2 minutes left. And I was rooting for Houston to take the lead. And my son is like, why are you rooting for Houston to take the lead? I said, because I want to witness Tom Brady come down and win the game in person. So, of course, Tom Brady got the ball marched down the field. He actually threw a touchdown pass to Brandon Cooks, and then the place started chanting, Brady, 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 and I'm like, oh, this is worth, I could have gone to 10 games. It would have been worth this one game, But that's how cocky we were. But, of course, Brandon Cooks, that was when he was in his prime. He made a great catch, it reached up and with the 2 feet in bounds and everything, But, of course, Brady put the ball on a dime exactly where you wanted to put it. But I just remember when I was at the game, I made on purpose, I just watched Brady, right? And what he does in between plays, talking to people, coming to the sidelines, talking to this one, talking to that one, motivating people and everything else. I really made a special point to watch him. And the leadership qualities this guy had, just phenomenal. We're spoiled and all that. I'm really glad, as Patriot fans, I'm just so glad I got to witness that in person and really watch him and see what he was doing because, wow, he could really motivate. He could take, average players or average to good players and make them really good.
Yeah, and you've seen that, from Wayne Gretzky. You've seen that from, Mario Lemieux. You've seen that just from players that, wow, this guy was, a 10 goal scorer one year, and the next year he plays with these guys and he's a 30 to 40 goal scorer. And you go, where did that come from? Well, look who he's playing with. Yeah, and the same thing with Brady. You look at what he did with certain guys and say, I can do this and make you even better. Where the slot position, if you recall, used to be a huge position with Wes Welker and Edelman. And they had that little skinny guy and that little rat that could go around and do the jobs. Where is that this year? Who's that guy? Not seeing it, right? Will they get back to that? I don't really know. They went in a different direction, maybe 2 tight ends, maybe wideouts. There's just different ways dependent on the players you get. But Tom would find the way to make those guys better. And he used the philosophy of my matchup. What matchup is going to do it for me now? That's what he did.
Hey, now he's a squirrel?
Hey, now he's
talking about the quarterback? Nah, I don't think so. That's just one game. It is true. It's just one game. But I got to tell you, on that game against Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
If it's 24-17 Baltimore and there's 2 minutes left and the Patriots get the ball back, you better be ready because the phone's going to be blowing up because I'm going to be saying, here we go again, Chris. It's it factor time. Are we going to, deliver when we need it? That's what I want. I just want to see.
Okay, and if you do, that will be his second game that he's done it.
Well, he got him into field goal range. What was it, against Miami or the Jets or somebody?
And what they do?
They ended up winning the game, but I mean, it wasn't a march down the field with a touchdown. It was just like, get him to midfield and kick like a big long field goal. But Edelman had the nickname Squirrel. Do you remember that?
Listen, Lisa, squirrel, rat, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. It's a little small animal that gets around and finds a little openings. That's how it works. That's what this is about. So, yeah, I understand. I hear you. I know where you're coming from. But
we know who the rat is. The rat's playing hockey
for
the Florida Panthers, and he's scoring goals like it's right out of style.
That's how we do it.
We should have signed the rat.
That's his nickname, but I'm just
throwing it out the rat.
That's how they move around out there.
We could have had the rat playing with, Pasternak and Geeky. talk about a guy that died and went to heaven, right? Geeky's having a great time playing with Pasternak, huh?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. There's a perfect example of a guy that you would say coming into the season, he's second in the NHL in goals.
Yeah, right.
So where's that coming from? That's coming from Pasternak. That's coming from guys that find him. And of course, he's developed his shot even better. And he's on a team that he feels comfortable with. And great for him and what his career has become. It's probably going to cost the Bruins a little bit more money in a contract that he's probably going to want and get better at. So that's a perfect example of what great players can do to help out other guys.
All right, we're going to wind it down a couple of minutes.
I have
to leave, so I want to take the opportunity to thank Attorney John B. Seed, Lakeville Athletic Club, Citywide Glass, and Scotty's Pub, my new favorite place to go down and sing on karaoke night on Wednesday night. Put on a little bow tie and turn into the old.
Make sure you beat Nelson over there.
I made it to the finals. Can you believe that?
You got to call up Nelson. You got to call up Nelson and meet Nelson.
I'm the Marv Levy of the karaoke. You know, I can only get to right here, but I was happy with that. I got a $50 gift certificate.
Hey, there you go.
For being in the top 10. You know what I mean? So, and Scotty made an appearance because he was the guy that was giving out the prizes. So he actually showed. But it seems like a great guy. So that was a lot of fun meeting him.
Hey, listen, he took a
picture. I'm like, hey, we have a common friend, Chris Santos.
Yeah, he took a picture. He sent it to me. He goes, "You know this guy?" I go, "Yeah." The Frank Sinatra of Scotty's Pub. And he just laughed. And he goes, "Yes, he was."
Yes, he was. He certainly was. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. This has been a fun show. It's always fun when people are looking at things differently and stuff like that.
Outstanding.
This was a fantastic. We actually had 3 people on hold while we were talking to one of our callers. So that was great. I think I found a way to do this to kind of stack them up over here, so without cutting people off. So
there you go.
Anyway, all right. Well, thanks very much. Go Pats. Let's see if we can bounce back next week. I want to see that game-winning drive at the end.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. For Chris Santos, I'm Paul Santos. Have a great rest of your night.